Welcome to our channel. Today, we bring you the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, engineering marvel or historical hoax. Imagine a lush, green paradise rising high above the city. Walls of ancient Babylon, a garden filled with trees, cascading vines and vibrant flowers, all in the middle of a vast desert. This is the legendary Hanging Gardens, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. But did they actually exist? Or is this just a captivating myth? Today, we explore the mystery of the Hanging Gardens to find out if they were an engineering marvel or a historical hoax. According to ancient texts, the gardens were supposedly built by King Nebuchadnezzar II around 600 BC for his homesick wife, Emitis. They were described as terraces filled with exotic plants, irrigated by an advanced system, drawing water from the Euphrates River. Such an achievement would have required incredible engineering skills, especially over 2,500 years ago. However, there is a problem: no definitive ruins or evidence of the Hanging Gardens have ever been found. Most accounts come from later historians like Strabo and Diodorus Siculus, who wrote about the gardens centuries after they were supposedly built. This lack of direct evidence raises the question: were the Hanging Gardens really in Babylon? Or did they exist at all? The mystery deepens when we look at historical records. Some ancient writings describe the gardens in detail, yet crucial Babylonian texts, like the Babylonian Chronicles, make no mention of them. Could it be that the gardens were simply a story passed down to inspire and awe? A legend that grew over time? Next, we will explore the theories about where the Hanging Gardens might have been located, and whether they existed as we imagine them. There are several theories about the existence and location of the Hanging Gardens. The most popular one places them in Babylon, built by King Nebuchadnezzar II, but with no concrete archaeological evidence found in Babylon. Some scholars have proposed alternative ideas. One theory suggests that the Hanging Gardens were not in Babylon at all, but rather in the ancient city of Nineveh, the capital of the Assyrian Empire. This theory was proposed by British archaeologist Stephanie Daly, who argues that the descriptions of the gardens fit better with Nineveh. She points to the extensive aqueducts and canals discovered near Nineveh, which could have supported such a massive irrigation system. According to Daly, ancient texts may have confused the two cities over time, leading to Babylon being incorrectly credited. Another theory posits that the Hanging Gardens were a purely mythical creation. The lack of contemporary Babylonian records mentioning the gardens raises doubts. The Babylonian Chronicles and other inscriptions detail Nebuchadnezzar's reign, but none mention this supposed wonder. Could the gardens have been an ancient story, magnified and romanticized by later writers like Strabo or Diodorus Siculus? Some believe the gardens could have existed but were destroyed, perhaps by natural disasters like earthquakes, which were common in the region. With time, any remaining evidence could have eroded away, leaving behind only stories and second-hand accounts. In the next section, we will dive deeper into how such an engineering feat could have been achieved if the gardens did exist. What would it have taken to build and maintain a garden of such scale in the middle of a desert? If the Hanging Gardens did exist, building them would have been a monumental engineering achievement, especially in the arid environment of ancient Mesopotamia. The descriptions suggest that the gardens were arranged in multi-level terraces, supported by massive stone columns. Such a structure would have required advanced architectural knowledge and significant resources. The biggest challenge would have been water supply. The gardens were said to be lush and filled with various plants and trees, all needing a continuous water source. This would have required a sophisticated irrigation system. One proposed method is the use of an Archimedes screw, a device that could lift water from the Euphrates River to the terraces above. If true, this would have been one of the earliest known uses of such technology. However, the question remains: could the Babylonians or the Assyrians have had the engineering capability to construct such a system? The materials. Manpower and technical knowledge needed would have been immense, while they were known for their advanced engineering skills. Creating a sustainable, larger-scale garden in a desert environment presents many unanswered questions. Moreover, ancient accounts describe stone terraces that could support enormous amounts of soil and vegetation. This implies not only architectural prowess, but also a deep understanding of botany and soil management. For instance, the terraces would need to be waterproof to prevent water from seeping through and damaging the structure below, a significant engineering challenge in itself. In the following section, we will explore the arguments against the garden's existence and whether the story of the Hanging Gardens is more a product of myth and misinterpretation than reality. Despite the captivating tales of the Hanging Gardens, there are many reasons to doubt their existence. First and foremost is the lack of direct evidence. Unlike other ancient wonders, such as the Great Pyramid of Giza or the Colossus of Rhodes, no ruins or remnants of the gardens have ever been found in Babylon. This has led some scholars to question whether the Hanging Gardens were ever built, or if they were merely a figment of imagination. One argument against the garden's existence is the absence of mention in contemporary Babylonian texts, the Babylonian Chronicles, which detail the achievements of Nebuchadnezzar II, make no reference to this supposed wonder. This omission is puzzling, given the grandeur of the gardens, as described by later historians. Could it be that these accounts were exaggerated, or based on second-hand information? Some historians suggest that the gardens were a symbolic creation, an allegory of prosperity and power. In a time when rulers sought to display their might, such a magnificent garden would have been a powerful symbol, even if it never physically existed. This could explain why later writers like Strabo or Diodorus Siculus were captivated by the idea, perpetuating the legend. Another point of skepticism comes from the inconsistencies in the descriptions. Different ancient sources provide varying details about the garden's size, appearance, and even location. This suggests that the stories may have evolved over time, with each retelling adding new embellishments. Modern scholars also propose that the Hanging Gardens could be a case of mistaken identity. They might have existed in another location, such as Nineveh, or they might be a blend of different tales from various places and times. So, was it all a hoax? While it's hard to definitively say that the Hanging Gardens never existed, the lack of concrete evidence and the inconsistencies in historical records suggest that the story may be more myth than reality. In the final section, we'll discuss why the legend of the Hanging Gardens continues to fascinate people today, and what this tells us about our quest to connect with ancient history. The legend of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon continues to captivate our imagination, not just because of the grandeur described, but because of the mystery that surrounds them. Whether they were an engineering marvel or a historical hoax, the story of the gardens reflects humanity's enduring fascination with ancient civilizations and their achievements. One reason the gardens remain so compelling is their representation of human ingenuity. If they were real, the Hanging Gardens would have been an extraordinary example of what ancient engineers could accomplish. The idea that a massive, multi-tiered garden could flourish in the middle of a desert inspires us to think about the limits of human creativity and determination. On the other hand, the possibility that the gardens never existed at all doesn't diminish their impact. The legend itself has a life of its own, demonstrating how stories can shape our understanding of history. The Hanging Gardens, whether myth or reality, serve as a reminder that history is often a mix of facts and narratives passed down through generations. Even today, archaeologists and historians are driven by the mystery of the Hanging Gardens. New discoveries and theories continue to emerge, showing that our curiosity about the ancient world is far from exhausted. The gardens have inspired countless works of art, literature, and even modern-day projects aimed at recreating their beauty. So, why do we continue to search for the Hanging Gardens? Perhaps it's because they symbolize a lost world of wonders, a time when the boundaries of human capability were being pushed in remarkable ways. Or maybe it's because they represent the power of stories to capture our imagination and keep us searching for answers. In the end, whether the Hanging Gardens of Babylon were an actual place or a historical mirage, their legacy endures. They remind us of the wonders of the ancient world and the mysteries that still remain, urging us to keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep dreaming. If you found this video helpful or interesting, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.